Hello, so here we are at week 4 and we're into digital presentation graphics. And our tool of choice is certainly PowerPoint, one of the most universal and popular presentation tools that exists. And indeed, it's made by Microsoft. However, graphic designers, whether they're Mac or Windows or whatever platform they are, they tend to choose PowerPoint. There are others like Keynote, of course, the ever-growing popular Prezi, which is really an interesting presentation program, and there's others as well. But PowerPoint is a very, very powerful tool, but it's probably one of the most overused and ill-used presentation graphics programs. Let me give you an example. I want you to see some good examples and maybe some pretty good examples of how PowerPoint can be used. In running behind me now, I'm going to show you just some poor examples. For example, type. Probably the most common complaint I hear about PowerPoint usage is that the presenter is simply reading a slide that the audience could simply read itself. That is, if they can read it, because there's so much type. So when you make your report in this assignment, I want you to think about the PowerPoint tool as just simply being an outline, a visual enhancement to your report, as if you were giving an oral presentation. But of course, you'll be doing this in writing. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But watch out for the abundance of text, a bullet here and there, a sentence fragment, just headlines and subheadings, and maybe a little bit of body copy. Let's don't overdo it. Let's leave a little bit to the imagination or to the listener so the speaker can enhance. Otherwise, I've even seen speakers and presenters, and you have too, where they've even turned their back to the audience as they're reading the slides they created. Why didn't they just mail these things out? And regarding type, back to the same as we did in Microsoft Word and we'll do in Adobe InDesign and some of our other projects, type is a very critical element for designers. Don't overuse, don't make it fanciful, don't make it cursive, don't use drop shadows and embossment. I know that there's something called word art, and there's illustrators that take type to the extreme, and there is an appropriate place for that, but not typically in a PowerPoint or a professional presentation. Let the graphics, the images speak for themselves and the content, and just let it be also on a grid. Now, some of you, the term grid is probably new in the sense of design and page layout. And I see that some of you, even in past assignments, have been struggling with the idea or the concept of a grid. A grid is simply a vertical and a horizontal axis that runs throughout the document. If it's a book, then that headline or that chapter heading is always at the same X and Y coordinates, the same position. And I'm going to assume that in your PowerPoint presentation you'd want to do the same. Let's say, for example, you have a title and then you got 4 sections of a presentation. Those subheadings should land in the same spot from the left or from the top or wherever. They should be the same size each time, same font treatment. Do not stretch type. Do not extend it. Just simply let type do what it does, is to be readable and very handsome. So follow that grid. Another thing to avoid in type, and I've mentioned this in the things to avoid in your lesson plan, is to not align center. Very seldom does it work that a professional wants to align center type, because typically the grid isn't right down the vertical middle of a page. Now, it might be different if it's like a movie credit scrolling through or something, but this is a PowerPoint show, so let's have left-right alignment and find a solid grid and stick to it, and usually things work out pretty well. Another thing we want to, even for young designers or just people that aspire to make better design, is in a PowerPoint presentation, think about color, stay uniform. I'm going to allow you on this project, you are going to write a report, but I don't care if you swipe the copy, okay? I'm going to give you a topic, which is going to be the name of a particular designer. I will email that to you, and you probably, by the time you watch this video, you will have received that email. Just Google that person, find some article or some kind of content that has got at least 1,000 words, okay? Enough words to support a 10-page PowerPoint presentation. Now, 10 pages might sound like a lot. You're not writing 10 pages. You're simply creating slide masters and a slide template for 10 pages. These pages, by the way, need to be unique pages, just because if you say so-and-so designer designed for Time magazine, and then you bullet and say they designed for the New Yorker magazine, then another bullet, they designed for Rolling Stone magazine. Well, that doesn't count as 3 pages, okay? That's one page with kind of unique content. It's okay to use a template too. I'm going to allow you to use a template. I'm going to allow you to use other people's images. I'm going to allow you to use other people's text. You just need to coordinate and orchestrate all of this, okay? Because really what I'm concerned about is that you can put these elements together in a handsome presentation piece. And you can just organize the elements so they look like a designer, somebody who was thoughtful about aesthetics designed this. So remember that. And transitions. Boy, transitions can almost make you nauseated. You've seen them. One is a cube, looks like a Rubik's Cube, and the other one looks like it's spinning off and flying in outer space, and the next page dissolves in, and the next one splatters like paint, and the next one the words come ticker tape rolling in one at a time. That doesn't impress me too much, okay? Find one or two transitions and be systematic with those. Maybe the entering transition is big and it's got a wow factor, or if you've got big subheadings that come in. And the rest of them are just simple dissolves. I don't care if somebody slides in from the left or the right or whatever. Just be consistent with it, okay? Those kinds of things really are just eye candy, and they're not that meaningful. And they don't cover up for poor content or poor design. So good luck with the PowerPoint project. Feel free to email me or contact me via phone if you've got questions. I think you guys are coming along well, so I look forward to seeing what you have for me this coming week with PowerPoint. Excited to hear these reports too and to read them. Talk to you soon.